Right, on today's show, I'd like to welcome Learning Disability England on Sui-Ling's chat show.
Yes, I'm Gary Borley, and I'm the co-founder of Learning Disability England, and I'm the do the membership and the spokesperson lead of Learning Disability England.
Hello, I'm Sheila. I've been a member of the rep body for about 4.5 years now, because I was a member before it became the rep body. I have 2 children, one of whom, Edward, has autism and a learning disability, and he is supported in supported living down in Hove, near the sea.
Hi, I'm David Abbey. I'm part of the rep body also. Have been so for probably about 3.5 years, so a little bit less than Sheila. In terms of the work we do, we help people with learning disabilities to become homeowners, even though they've only got state disability benefits to live on. We've been doing that now for about 20 odd years, and we've helped about 1,400 people buy their own home throughout England.
Hi, I'm Scott Watking. I'm Head of Engagement at Disability. I co-chair the rep body for Learning Disability England.
What do you do at LDE?
Well, we're a small team of about half a dozen of us that work at Learning Disability England. We all don't work in the same office, and that, of course, due to the pandemic, we can't do that at the moment. So we're spread all over the place. And we do various different jobs. I do the membership and spokesperson bit. Yeah, I write loads of blogs on different subjects, like at the moment the coronavirus, and of course that's always changing, and also about people's rights and people's choices of like homes and better health care. Sometimes we speak on Channel 4 and BBC Breakfast. I do all that sort of thing. So I do a wide range of stuff. And sometimes I work at conferences, but at the moment can't do all that because of the pandemic.
You're quite busy, Gary, aren't you? All everywhere.
Yeah, well, certainly I am.
Next question. What is a representative body and what do they do? Will that be David?
Yeah, I'll give you a short answer, and then if somebody wants to build on that, then they can do. That's probably the best way.
Okay then.
The representative body is a group of Learning Disability England members who are elected to help steer Learning Disability England. They represent Learning Disability England members and act on their behalf, making important decisions about what Learning Disability England says and does. And we tend to come in sort of individually to create a group that might look at a particular challenge, or to put some feedback into a piece of work. So we're not all necessarily doing every bit of work that comes through Learning Disability England, but we do dip in and out of that work.
Yes, I think one of the really important things there is that there are 3 groups of members that have all represented on the representative body. And there are people like me who are our parents or family members who have who care for or are linked to someone with a learning disability or autism. There are people who have a learning disability and are self-advocates, so people like Gary, but also we have various other members, many self-advocates within the membership, and there are 3 family members, there are 3 self-advocate members, and then there are 3 representatives of organisations who support or provide services to people with learning disabilities. And so David and Scott both represent organisations who are providing services. And that is what I think is really unique, both about Learning Disability England and about the rep body, because we are very much a collaboration between the different groups, and all the different voices are represented and are heard. And we consult as far as we can with other people that we know or other networks in order to bring those ideas and voices to the rep body when we're either raising issues or discussing issues, like David was saying.
Right, next question is, what's it like to be part of the represented body?
Shall I answer this one?
Scott, yeah.
So although I co-chair the representative body, I also have a learning disability as well, so lived experience, and I think every member of the representative body very much wants to work together, and to make sure that LD Learning Disability England is a success, and in everything that we strive to achieve. I think it's not only about working together, it's about sharing our own views, sharing our ideas, and supporting the direction of the way that Learning Disability England is going. But that's also a two-way thing, because we need to also work very closely with the trustees as well and the staff, and have very much a close working links with everybody, because Learning Disability England is such a small organisation but has a big membership. It is around actually using all of our expertise to work together. I think that Learning Disability England and being on the representative body is a brilliant organisation to be part of. What we strive to do is to work with organisations and families and people with learning disabilities to make sure that not one group doesn't have a voice, that everybody has a voice. For me, and I think for many others, it's a very unique position to be in, and a proud position to be in, because no other organisation works like this.
I think Scott's covered it all, but I
Yeah,
would agree with everything you said, and it's great to feel that you're doing something very constructive, because you can and also meeting new people. You know, we've made friends, I think, across the rep body, and been involved in lots of different activities and had new opportunities, and that's fantastic as well.
The only thing I would add is it gives us an opportunity to make a real difference to the lives of people with learning disabilities. And in my case, I'm particularly passionate about giving people access to the full range of housing options, including home ownership. So I think that's another feature of being part of the representative body.
Right, this is a question. How have things changed since the pandemic?
I think the pandemic's changed the way that the LDE have had to work very quickly in terms of it was almost like one day we were all free to go out of our homes and go to work and to do our normal business meetings, and then the next day you were just told, no, stay at home, lock your doors. This whole thing was new to everybody. It took us a lot of time to work out how we were going to do it. Whilst it's changed, it's also helped and supported LDE to have a bigger voice. Every other Thursday they do the family and self-advocate sessions, Zoom meetings to bring people together. And actually one of the things that we've all said around this is it's okay to be not okay at times, because we it's all so uncertain, and I think we've adapted really well to it. It's supported us to be able to really lobby government and to really challenge them and say, why are people with learning disabilities put at the bottom of the pile all the time? Why aren't you giving us the easy read information that we need?
Yeah, I like easy read stuff. I don't want anything too much. Just easy read for all of us that we use for McIntyre.
Why are we one of the last groups of people to get a vaccine? Learning Disability England has played a big role in highlighting why it's so important to be able to have a voice and to be stronger together.
What have you done to support your members?
Scott mentioned quite a few, and I think they're really important. The weekly Zoom meetings to give people a chance to talk together about how they're feeling, what they're doing, what they could do to support themselves and others. The newsletter has been really important as well, I think, because that gives people access to lots of other information. So Scott mentioned easy read, and so it provides links to easy read material about things. We've also done quite a few webinars. We've had specialist people, so for example, lawyers coming in and talking about what is the legal situation, or what can people do, or how can they cope, and what is their position during the pandemic. But we've also campaigned to support people who've been aware of things like do not resuscitate notices being given to relatives. So we've campaigned on that to support people with that campaign. We haven't supported them individually, we're just not big enough, but we can then campaign and talk about, Gary does his blogs and his vlogs about that as a really critical issue. And we're campaigning at the moment about getting people with learning disabilities the vaccine, so making them much more of a priority group. So we're not necessarily supporting people individually, but we are supporting the things that will be important to them and that we know are important to them. David, I don't know, and Gary, I don't know if you want to add things.
Yeah, the only thing I'd like to add to that is the pandemic's obviously made life really more difficult for people with learning disability. And as Scott alluded to, we've Learning Disability England has done everything to keep its members informed and supported throughout by issuing regular news items and updates. And the thing for me that stands out as well is how quickly and that we set up the special online coronavirus hub where members can share their lockdown experiences and, as Sheila and Scott mentioned, and support each other. So again, that's bringing people together.
It's getting people active in doing things. This is what's happened since the pandemic. Will people come up with creative ideas to doing things?
What are some of the things you are campaigning for?
One of the Learning Disability England's most recent campaigns concerns disability hate crimes. Shockingly, it's less than 1 in 60 of such crimes are actually reported that then lead to someone being charged, and this has to change. The other campaign that comes to mind is to give people with learning disabilities and the carers the opportunity to be vaccinated against coronavirus as soon as possible. I know Sheila and Scott both mentioned that. And for me, it's the fact that they may be up to 6 times more likely to fall ill, and I mean seriously ill as well, or even sadly to die if they catch it. So I think it's a really important campaign.
Yeah, good. I can vouch for that. People with learning disabilities need to be the priority, and it needs to be also explained as well, because a lot of people are still skeptical as well about it, about having the vaccine. Also about the hate crime. I think that's increased since the pandemic.
That's quite important, isn't it, to those main topics like hate crime and things, and also the vaccine is very important. And a lot of people have become ill and died, basically. So we need to make sure people have the vaccine and do the right things,
What are your hobbies and interests? This is to everybody.
I tend to be on Facebook a lot during the time when I'm not supposed to be on doing any work at all. And then I do watch football a lot on BT Sports, and that keeps me interested. I also like anything to do with history and documentaries and drama. I like all that sort of thing. And of course, I live near the coast as well. So when it's really nice weather, this beach usually gets crowded. So there's a lot of sun worshippers get on our beach. Yeah, So and my neighbour does my cleaning the flat and also my ironing.
That's good.
Can't be bad.
Yeah.
I like to live like a lord.
Absolutely. Even the butler was poor. Yes. Well, I think a bit like Gary, a lot of my things have changed during the pandemic, and I can show you one of my new interests, because I've taught myself to crochet. So I'm crocheting. I can only crochet in straight lines. So I can do one stitch in straight lines. So I'm crocheting blankets at the moment, which is nice because it means I can. If I'm watching television, I don't feel quite so lazy because I'm sitting crocheting at the same time. But I'm also teaching myself Greek, because I'm very lucky that we inherited a flat in Greece many years ago from John's parents, and so we go there when we're allowed. We really like going there, and I'm teaching myself Greek on Duolingo, and I'm making some progress, but I realise how much I forget every time I try and do a new test and can't remember half of it.
Sounds all Greek to me.
Oh, I think it is all Greek to me as well, Karen. Absolutely. I do Nordic walking, and that's one thing I have been able to carry on during the pandemic. We're lucky that we've got some quite big parks near us, and so I can go Nordic walking. And when we're allowed further afield, we get out and go for walks in the woods down near Westerham. Normally I do lots of volunteering with people with dementia as well, but instead of visiting them and doing groups, I'm phoning them, and that's quite good fun as well. So I've taken up Pilates by the dreaded Zoom as well. So that's enabled me to learn Pilates. So I am actually feeling quite a lot fitter as a result of the pandemic. So I shall try and keep that going afterwards as well.
I like, so I spend a lot of time with my family. So because I have a little girl as well. So before the pandemic, we were able to go to abroad and go to the water parks and things like that. So we like to holiday and travel a lot, see different places, and to look at the culture and see the different cultures and to experience that as well. And then I only live about 4 minutes walk from the beach. So even if it's wet, windy and horrible, going down to the beach and clearing the cobwebs out your ears is great. And one of my biggest passions is ice hockey. I love a bit of ice hockey, a bit of rough and tumble on the ice, and being on the ice and doing it.
Just listening to Scott and Gary, they're really envious of them having beaches right on their doorstep.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm based in the Midlands in Coventry, so we're probably the furthest you can be away from the sea in any direction. So loads of envy for you two. So in terms of pre-pandemic, my wife and I, we enjoy travel. So, but not perhaps to the sort of places you expect people to be traveling to. So we've enjoyed Russia. We went for a week, 10 days, and Vienna and Vancouver and Toronto. So those sort of cities that perhaps aren't holiday destinations, if you like. And somebody mentioned culture. I think that's one of the things that we enjoy having a peep into and seeing how others live, etc. And more recently, since the pandemic, I really enjoy running, and I've done more and more of it over these last 12 months or so. So you'll see me out running in the local area, typically before breakfast. So I'm out on the road probably 3 or 4 times a week on average. So before breakfast, and then I'll do perhaps 3 or 4 miles in the week and do a lot longer over the weekend. And it's always interesting because I do my long run on a Sunday, again before breakfast, but my wife enjoys walking. So not only do I have to do a bit of running, I then have to have some breakfast, and we go walking around the park for another 3 or 4 miles. So there's plenty of activity and plenty of fitness there. So those are probably my 2 loves, if you like, and where I spend most of my time. I was brought up in Birmingham, so for my sins, I support Birmingham City, although I don't go and watch them. But I'm an armchair supporter and still get lots of ups and downs following a team that's not very successful. So those are my pastimes.
Sue, what are your interests apart from having a budgie?
Well, I'm sorry about the noise, but I do a lot of card making. I make my own Christmas cards, birthday cards with Martin. We make our own Christmas cards and we sell them to people instead of going
Great.
to the shop. So I sell them to people. So yeah, I've made a few this time, but I don't know if you can see. I've made sort of that one. This is next year for Christmas. So.
Oh, those are fun. Excellent.
Yeah, and I used to do a lot of charity runs for McIntyre. I've done a lot of 10K runs, and I've done one for cancer research. So, and I've also done a superhero run in Milton Keynes.
What did that involve?
I had to dress up as a Wonder Woman superhero.
Oh.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So I'm quite fit myself and active, so I'm not bored or anything. So I have lots of things to do at home. So yeah. And I'd like to thank you, the people from LGE, coming to my chat show.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.
And you, Sue.
And so
Thank you, Gary. I might see you sometime on Zoom, maybe.
Yeah, I hope so. Good to see you again.